it's Caroline here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am putting together a 12 by 12 page with two 6 by 4 photos of my daughter and one of her friends at their sixth form social party. I am using a kit that I've put together from my scraps from my stash this month. So I have picked a colour palette and pulled out some 12 by 12 sheets, pulled out some larger chunks of scrap paper, and then what I'm going to do is just dive into my scrap box, which looks like, if I just pull it up, these are my scrap boxes. So this one is scraps that are at least 12 inches tall and quite wide, normally 6 or 4 inches wide. And then this scrap box is just all of my scraps organised into kind of size, really, little pieces, strips, and then some bigger pieces underneath. So I'll be diving into these two boxes for my projects, along with the papers that I've already pulled out from to kind of create my kit with. This paper I had actually put into my kit to cut apart, so I plan to kind of cut it into strips to use the heart print, but also this ledger print on the back. But I have decided to just use this as a 12 by 12 sheet and build my page on top of this, because I'm not diving back into my full 12 by 12 sheets. That's the point of this. I'm just using the 12 by 12 sheets that I've pulled out and only diving into my scrap boxes. So this looks quite nice with this really bold red blind that's in the background and my daughter's friend's dress. So what I've then done is gone into my scrap box and pulled out all of the scraps in various sizes and different patterns that are just black and white, and these look really nice on top of those. So I will pull in some gold accents as well, probably some stickers. I have an Ellie Edwards 3x4 card, which I may just cut the excitement bit off, or I might use the whole card for some journaling, I'm not sure. So with that in mind, I've also have a couple of pieces, there it is, a couple of kind of bubbles from Ellie Edwards kits that are in my stash that I might use for journaling instead of, or as well as. And I've also pulled in a couple of Ellie Edwards frames with some gold foil on them, which will match the photos, the gold in the photos really nicely. So but depending on how the composition comes together, I might end up putting these on top of the photos, I don't know yet. So I've just pulled those out. I'll probably pull in some black word phrase stickers as well, I think. So that is my intention with this. I'm just going to get the branding strip cut off. This is a really old Studio Calico 12 by 12 sheet. Ink everything in black and then get started. So I'll put things on fast forward and voiceover, and let's see this one come together. I'm not too sure what design I'm going to go with yet. I have one strip of scrap that is 12 inches wide, so I'm probably going to use that somewhere near the bottom as a kind of grounding piece. And then, yeah, let's see where it goes. All right, I'll put you onto voiceover and fast forward. Okay, so step one for me is to ink all of the edges of these black and white pieces in that black distress ink. And then I know I want my photos orientated in this way so that the balloons kind of make a frame over on the left hand side. And I am going to just adhere this strip of 12-inch paper to close to the bottom, not at the very bottom, but kind of hovering close to the bottom, just so that I have a grounding strip to work from. And then all I'm going to do is just layer with light adhesive, layer up those black and white scraps of paper so that they sit behind the photos. I'm just arranging them in size order here, starting at the largest, working my way down to the smallest piece, just a little bit of adhesive on the back of the layers, and then just building up a stack of paper layers behind the photos, just really for colour and for pattern interest, and so that there is something to stand these really these bold photos up from that background. And I really love the look. I'm so happy that I'm using my scraps up. I can't tell you how happy that makes me to do this, and I'm going to follow this formula for quite a few 12 by 12 pages to come. I'm really going to just dive into that scrap box and work with the 12 by 12 sheets that I've put together as a kit, dive into the scrap box and get my stash used up in my albums just where it should be, rather than sitting in a box under my desk. I'm finding it quite fun to just work with these small pieces and to just layer them up. What I've done now is I've adhered everything down nice and strongly so that there's just one block of paper that I can move around. I've still got those few pieces to add on, which I will stick underneath the photo to build up that kind of grounding layer. And I know that I want to now use that 3x4 card as one whole. I was toying with the idea of cutting out the excitement and using it as part of the title. Admittedly, there's no teal on this page at all, but I will just make sure that I have a few tiny touches of teal in a couple of other places so that that colour is repeated 3 times on the layout, and that way it helps it to feel as if it's meant to be there. It's not just a little mistake. At the moment, to my eye personally, when I look at that card on this layout, I do really spot the teal because it just stands out. So by adding in a couple of hits of teal, just with some word phrase stickers a little bit later on, it will help things to balance nicely and to feel that everything's meant to be there. I could definitely have gone into my stash and pulled out some teal papers. That would have worked just as well. I really like the colour palette of red and teal together. I think they work really, really nicely. But I've decided to just go with the black and white with the red and just work with that. I will be bringing in some gold accents a little bit later on with my title, but really happy to just go with this bold red, the black and the white, and then use the excitement card as a way of capturing just 5 points about this friendship and about the evening where these photos were taken. Layering things up, deciding that I want to, because the photos are fun and I'm going with this kind of patchwork design, I've really decided to just go with it. So I am sticking my my 3x4 card on the top of the photo, so I'm overlaying it a little touch, and then I am going to go in with these chipboard frames from that older Ali Edwards kit. I think this was actually the December kit. I really struggled to use the chipboard frames, so I just popped them into my stash, and I am going to stick them straight onto the top of the photo because there's just so much background on these photos. It really doesn't detract at all. In fact, if anything, it just makes them more fun. So I'm going to layer them up, a little bit of adhesive on the back, move things around so that the girls are framed really nicely, and you can still read that excitement on the 3x4 card well. I'm really happy with how this one is coming together so far. Before I go too much further, I am going to want to put my title on. So I am going to go back into my stash, just have a look for what I could potentially use to support my title. And that's where I find this really, really lovely acetate ampersand that fits the colour scheme well because it's that black and white. And so I'm going to adhere that down with a tiny attacher. I'm just pulling up the protective film that is on this ampersand. Again, this is an Ali Edwards product from a really, really old, I think it's probably the And story kit that's just been in my stash for absolutely ages, so really pleased to get that down. And I'm going to use the gold thickers to bring in that gold accent from the photos, the gold balloons in the photos, get the girls' names down, and then I will move on to some additional embellishment and bring in a little bit of extra gold. I'm a little bit disappointed that I've lost that kind of grounding placement that I had with that strip of paper that first strip of paper that I stuck down. So what I'm doing here is coming in with some baker's twine. It's not easy to see on camera, but it is actually white with a gold metallic gold fabric in there, and it really does stand out. So I'm stapling that along to the bottom just to bring back that grounding element of that horizontal piece, and really, really pleased with that. And then I've pulled in again just purely from my stash, just looking for colours at this point. I'm not really that bothered about the sentiment. I want it to match, but I was looking for anything that I had that was really black or black and white. Pulling in these from I think an old Week in the Life story kit from Ali Edwards, and then the chipboard butterfly is I think an older Vicky Bouton butterfly, and again that has got some gold foil as part of the chipboard. Bringing in just a couple of puffy sticker hearts, black with a tiny touch of teal in the outline of the heart, and then I will go in a moment to look through my word phrase stickers, and that's where I will pull in some of the teal. I toyed with the idea of those teals in the puffy stickers, but they're a little bit duller in saturation of colour, so I've decided to go in with a much brighter version of the colour in a moment with those word phrase stickers in these embellishment clusters. You'll see them now. Date stamp, add in my journaling in a moment, and then that will be this one all complete. So I have added in a couple of extra hits of gold with some see-through stickers from an old sticker book, and also some gold puffy hearts, one in each of the embellishment clusters. Really happy with how this one has come together. So happy that I've used up so much of my stash. Feeling really good about that. Really good to have gone back to something that I planned to do at the beginning of the year. So I'll add my journaling onto the journal card. I've already got my date on there, and that will be this one ready and into the album. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. If you don't already, please subscribe. It would be lovely to see you here more often, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.